Welcome to the video presentation about key features of the updated English language program and criteria-based assessment in primary school, grade 4. Today we are going to review the latest changes in the curriculum of grade 4. The best way to start the presentation about the changes is revising the updated state educational standard for grade 4, which consists of the following programs. The first is the subject program, which consists of compulsory learning objective system. The next is the course plan, which we are going to analyze in this video presentation. It suggests activities and notes for teachers to achieve learning objectives. Also, there are some other documents to clarify the criteria-based assessment, like specification of summative assessment for the term on subject and methodological recommendation for the summative assessment. There are also a collection of formative assessments which can be used in every lesson to follow the standards. The last document is the lesson plan, which will be discussed in details later, so stay tuned. As I mentioned before, one of the main documents which will be used by the teacher constantly is the course plan, which contains the medium-term plan. I hope you can see it. Medium-term plan contains the title of the unit. It is highly suggested to read the recommended prior knowledge, which gives the background information. The content and the outline describe the unit. The main tool to use is the key learning objectives, which is the major amount of the objectives to be covered in the particular unit. As I mentioned before, one of the main documents which will be used by the teacher constantly is the course plan, which contains the medium-term plan. I hope you can see it. Medium-term plan contains the title of the unit. It is highly suggested to read the recommended prior knowledge, which gives the background information. The content and the outline describe the unit. The main tool to use is the key learning objectives, which is the major amount of the objectives to be covered in the particular unit. The program takes into consideration the Common European Framework of Reference for Languages, or the CFR, and students' language proficiency is measured against the CFR levels. Why the CFR? Because it's the way of international standardizing, which is widely used throughout the world, so why not to use it here? Some of the given topics are similar in all course plans that are constructed on the principle of a spiral curriculum. The spiral curriculum allows learners to revisit subject matter content at different levels of complexity and density. Basically, they are learning the same stuff. This also allows previous knowledge and skills to be reviewed and recycled, as well as ensures that no knowledge and skills are forgotten, but reinforced, evaluated, and extended. You must be wondering, how about the Bloom's taxonomy? Here it comes. While planning the lessons or activities, asking questions, or creating assessment criteria, the teacher should take into consideration Bloom's taxonomy to develop high-order thinking skills. Taxonomy simply means classification, so the well-known taxonomy of learning objectives is an attempt to classify forms and levels of learning and develop appropriate assessment criteria. So thank you, Mr. Bloom. The updated program is being implemented, and an appropriate assessment system is needed to assess the achievements of students. Criteria-based assessment system is based on the expected results of the state educational standard and the curriculum in the context of, guess what? Exactly, the Bloom's taxonomy. Assessment criteria is developed based on this, and they are used in the process of formative assessment, summative assessment for the unit, and the summative assessment for the term. The summative assessment should be conducted with skills in groups. There should be one receptive and one productive skill in each summative assessment. Now let's compare the skills at the beginning and in the end of the year in grade 4. In the first term, reading skills are built on those developed in previous grades. The focus is on reading at word and sentence levels, and all reading is contextualized. In the last term, learners read alone and with others. They participate in whole class responses when reading books together. The first term writing skills are consolidated and developed from previous grades. Writing is relatively limited in the first term, but in the end of the year, Writing skills focus on accuracy because learners revisit many grammatical forms. They also express application, compare and contrast, and communicate some events using the simple past. Let's have a look at speaking skills. Speaking skills are consolidated, developed from the previous grades, just like the other skills. But in the end of the year, they make decisions about planning and creating text and even give feedback to peers. Reading skills. Listening activities build on skills developed in previous grades. Learners listen to input at word, sentence, and text levels in Term 1, and in the end of the year, learners listen to longer explanations of topic concept, to factual information and descriptions, as well as songs and music. Please note that it's not necessary for all types of assessment to be in the same lesson. Teachers should decide which type of assessment is the best to check learners' work. It can be assessed by the teacher, either alone or with each other using descriptors. The teacher chooses which form to use, but must remember the importance of the feedback and its quality. Please remember that formative assessment is more effective if the feedback is given constructively. Now here is an example of the lesson plan. Don't be scared, we'll review it in details. Let's go! The lesson plan starts from the theme of the lesson and the learning objectives, which are taken from the course plan. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. However, the lesson plan is constructed by the teacher according to the needs of the students, which should be based on differentiation. There are some small but really important features in the lesson plan which should be considered and paid attention by the teachers. The success criteria requires to identify the final outcome of the lesson for the learners. What are the value links? They are the human traits which should be connected to the topic. However, it should be considered by the teacher. Cross-curricular links connect English with other subjects, again, according to the topic. ICT skills require the skills which are developed during the lesson by the learners. The pastoral care includes behavioral objectives and the value development. The previous topics and grammar of learners should be mentioned as well. And the last, the teacher shouldn't forget about health and safety of learners. Before the lesson, teachers should include objectives focused on the usage of vocabulary for the lesson. While presenting the lesson objectives, teacher may elicit from learners the expected outcomes to focus them on the success criteria. After the lesson conducted, teacher reflects on the lesson by asking the suggested questions. All collected data from the lesson should be used as a resource for future planning. Finally, the result of the lesson can be seen through the formative assessment, which doesn't include mere smiles and phrases like, "Well done, great job," which were used in this video. Instead, it should contain a thorough feedback of their work. Here are the samples of the summative assessment for the unit and a term which shows the result of learners' achievements. That's it for today. If you found this video interesting, click the thumbs up button and share your thoughts on the changes in the curriculum, and don't forget to subscribe to find out the latest news about further changes. See you later, alligators!